And this topic has been very much present for me in recent past over the last 2 months, having moved in with my beloved here at Center of the Seven Rays, our homestead, 6-acre stewarding land project that I'm has become part of my mission and my movement and my vision for what I'm here to do in the world, to help myself and my beloved and all those that we serve to ground in deeper, to look to the elements and the land, to live sustainably, and to have what I call sovereign living practices, ways that we can be more empowered within our own selves in the context of community and relationship, both in our own physical locations and communities as well as online. And so in this relationship with my beloved, it's been such an amazing mirror to see how I was still running codependent tendencies in romantic relationship and partnership. And my past relationship before this, I was very much in, we were consciously agreed to be codependent in a way where all my needs were being taken care of by this man, and I wasn't working much at all. I had a side business going with my superfoods company, and that was about it. And eventually I realized that that wasn't really the way I wanted to operate my life. And so we uncoupled, and I had about a year on my own. And then earlier this year, right around the time of the eclipse in May, it was, I believe, a full lunar eclipse, I met Amri. And so we instantaneously uh, dropped into a prayer field together of really what feels to be this uh, dharmic alignment in partnership. And it's been really interesting to be in a romantic partnership with someone who also is my best friend, with someone who I feel an innate uh, calling and through line I feel so compelled to be in ceremony with him, to serve others, to grow a tribe, and to co-create the vision that him and I both held on our own, and coming together or activating it for each other. So he's been such an amazing support in my own business, in my own practice with my own community, rooting me on and really holding me to my greatness and encouraging me. And also when I've had moments of rebirth and dying to this part of myself that is no longer a fit, this old habitual part of myself of hiding out and not showing up as fully as I could, not fully committing to my full hell yes, heavens yes vision, which I'm now fully stepped into and fully committed to, and there's no looking back. Got the blinders on, and it is to assist women in particular to launch their global movements around sovereign living and global awakening, and whatever expression of that those containers resonates with that sister. And so within this coming together of the colliding of our worlds and the meshing of our worlds, there has been some edges that we've rubbed up against, and ways that I didn't realize I was still looking to him for approval. And of course, I love to be praised, and I love to be honored and cherished by my love, and he does as well. But it's when one goes outside of themselves to look for that as a measure of our worth, or as a measure of if we're okay, or as a permission to proceed, that's where it's unhealthy. And that's why I was still running some of that. And so we actually, through our collision, so to speak, of our energies and our passions and our dreams and our dance and all the cosmic soup that we find ourselves with in this great awakening and unfolding that we're going through on the planet right now. Um, I also see kind of stepping out and looking in from this trend. I've always been a trend watcher and a trend maker too, and I've been on the leading edge of humanity's awakening really for a while now. Since I was a little girl, I knew I was going to be a part of this. I knew I was going to be a leader, and I was already in leadership positions from a young age. And so I've constantly put myself out there, even when I wasn't ready. Put myself on stages, showed up, and ad libbed my way through all kinds of situations. And now, really, what I'm seeing is this activation happening where those of us who are stepping into greater levels of courage, really allowing our voice and what we stand for and what we're no longer willing to stand for either or put up with, and to clearly state and put our stake in the grounds for what we truly believe in and have come here and incarnated during this time for. We are attracting others who also feel ready for this and who are doing this. And if you reflect on the last few years on the people who have really stood out to you, that you've admired, people who have held themselves to the fire and taken a stand for what they believe in, even if it meant completely going against the grain of the prevailing narrative, even if it meant being censored, even if it meant losing friends and family or followers, let's say. These are the people, and also the people who are not going along with the narrative of like, if you do this thing or act or behave in this way, then you are. I could give you a specific example. Um, Basically, I don't want to get into that right now, but people who are not buying in to this top-down narrative of separation and control and dominance. Joanna says, "Love your vulnerability and sharing of codependency. So relatable in this times." So yes, the sovereign living piece has been a theme for me throughout this. And let me just finish that last thought before I go into another one. So we're finding and attracting those that are, I know for me, I've been finding the others who are about liberated living, free from any of the paradigms and constructs and programming, frankly, that we were either born into, raised with, through religious, parental, educational, governmental, societal, adolescent, peer group programming that can happen too, uh, political programming, mass media programming, really unplugging from all those things. Where does it leave us? How do we have an identity within this context of all of this age of information where there's so much, so many tangents and so many ways we could be distracted? And so what I'm seeing is more of us who are really coming back to what is true and what we actually do have control over, which is our sovereign sense of self. No matter who we're in relationship with, no matter who we're collaborating with, no matter who is our romantic or familial group, that this is truly the only thing our own perspective and our own heart and our own sense of self is truly all we really have. All we really have control over. And another friend just joined on. Hey, Christiana. So happy that you ladies are on live with me. So this has been my prayer lately: is how do we have sovereignty within this union focus, whether it's union within our own self, union with other, and union within a humanity focus too, of unification on that oneness level, right? Because what else I see is a trend that's happening, is this global awakening piece. This piece about us realizing that we all are one beyond just this idea of it. More and more of us are being tuning in telepathically, communicating in ways perhaps that we are just kind of now coming online with. We're activating more of our gifts. We are finding out also that we're not alone in this universe, that we are made from the stars, and that we have divine origins. And so within this unification and unity awareness, recognition, there's this also this piece about the self. Like, where does the sovereign self come in? How do I be in my own field, in my own personal power, in my own creative authorship, in communion with others? Because this is also a time where the lone wolf syndrome of doing things on our own and trying to go at it alone, and coming from any kind of past wounding about times where we tried to move forward in relationship, or tried to move forward in community, or where we made some progress, and then maybe things fell apart, maybe things disintegrated. That was all happening for us. And so it's really about us now, gathering all of this wisdom, all of this experience that we've had from this lifetime and others, and knowing that we have the creative authorship and the sovereign ability through our unalienable human birthright, our divine birthright, to thrive and to be supported in every which and on all levels: physically, emotionally, spiritually, professionally, romantically. We can have it all. I fully believe that in this lifetime, we are going to see miraculous shifts. They're already happening now. And so if you're listening to this, I know you are interested in being a part of this vanguard, to be a bridge for uh, anchoring in this heaven on earth vibe here and now in our lifetimes on the planet, to be a way shower and a guide for those that you're best meant to serve, and really holding the vision of your thought leadership, your heart leadership, as something valuable and something tangible that you can offer and receive and give from your heart from. And there is our global financial system right now that is unraveling, and we still are in this monetary paradigm. And so this is another piece about this codependency and sovereignty piece, that I think we've been in a codependent relationship with the financial system, this fiat currency. That I could go on and on about, like, the Fed and all of the ways that our structure with money has been created, and this illusion of lack consciousness. And that we also, even for those of us that have depended on the government before, for handouts, like I've received from the government before, that is a codependency too, that ultimately we don't really, it's not we're not dependent on anyone else outside ourselves to move ourselves forward. And also, we can't do it alone. So it's a little bit of this like dance between this personal sense of power and let's do this in unity together. So, if any thoughts around this piece of like moving through these two kind of interpenetrating ideas of sovereignty, of unity, I would love to hear from you all what you feel about that. And these are the types of conversations that I'm having every day with my sisters, with my the people that I choose to surround myself with. I We don't know what tomorrow will bring. However, we do have a compelling call and a innate drive and a divine mission, if you will. Um, Everyone that I communicate with is feeling this from their own heart center, moving them forward to serve and to show up in a more courageous way than we have ever before. I'm actually going to use some of this divine courage. This is a Pohala botanical. Keone Hanale, brother Keone Hanale makes these hydrosols, edible hydrosols. This is the Vico fern. It is divine courage. We are being called to draw from a well of courage that we may have never accessed before. And the best way that I know how to do that is in community, is surrounded by a sisterhood, a brotherhood, a soul family in group, if you will, that is holding you to your highest, has your best interest and heart in mind, is sees you as whole, perfect, and complete. That there's nothing you need to do to go outside yourself to be ready to be a leader during this time of grand awakening. That it's okay to be vulnerable and say, hey, I've been codependent before in all of these different ways, and there's no judgment about that. But with creative authorship, it's about choosing how we want to move forward. How do I want to move forward in this next now moment? And as visionaries, we get to decide how we're going to play our cards on this chessboard of this 3D matrix and beyond that we're playing on. How do you want to orient yourself during this time? And who do you want to surround yourself with? Because you are sovereign being. You get to decide where you put your energy. You know, you get to be I think it's imperative now that we really are ruthless, frankly, with our energetic, what we're willing to tolerate and what we're not willing to tolerate, what we're willing to invest our time, energy, resources, finances, life force, shakti into, and what we're not. And also to really claim, which is part of my zone of genius, is helping the women that I work with to really clarify who they're best suited to serve, in which way, and to speak to it in an authentic manner that really is compelling and draws that person in and repels the person that that's not for. And if that person is repelled, they would be very clear about who that person is a fit for and could maybe make a referral for them on their behalf. And I've had a lot of success doing this and doing them even as experiments over the years to like really speak to this vision that I'm co-creating. And it's been ramping up my entire life to this very now moment into creating an offer that I'm calling Rebel Heart Creatrix Mind. It's by invitation and invite only. It is and I would love to speak with you if you are curious and leaning in about learning more about it. We're about halfway full, and I'm capping the enrollment at 22 sacred souls, trailblazing women who really feel compelled to come together at this time and have a 12-month container together which feels really potent to make a commitment for myself personally to a group container mastermind for 12 months, given that there is an explosion of programs and offers and all kinds of things out there that are like a 6 month container down to 6 weeks. Like a lot of things out there are shorter amounts of time, which is all valuable as well, where you have this output of what you're going to get by the end of that 6 weeks to 6 weeks to 6 months together. But really, what I've found is 6 months in, we're just kind of getting going. We're really just starting to move the needle forward, to get some momentum. And that's why I'm creating this to be a 12-month container, so that by this time next year, we are fully I will be creating a summit, the Rebel Heart Soul Summit. I love hosting summits. It's been a while since I've done one, where I interview each sister about their particular movement and great work in the world. And you will have the ability to welcome in a whole new influx of people into your community through that interview being the gateway into your sacred work in the world. And having this interview, this piece of content, really be a true representation of the evolution of your entire heroine's journey into who you are now, and then future casting a year from now, because even between now and then there's going to be shifts, there's going to be twists and turns, and there's going to be a lot more happening in the collective that the cosmos kind of is alluding to. But there is more unrest coming. There is more uncertainty coming. And if you are embodied and listening to me at this time, if you're still listening, you're still here showing up and listening to me and contributing to this conversation, then I know you are here to be a part of this vanguard, this dawning of the golden age, a new renaissance, a new way of being. We get to build no whole bar, highest level vision. We get to build this new earth, that we get to build this ship together, and to have a community of sister support, an intimate group where we are coming together specifically for this express purpose, and to do any of the groundwork and the inner work along the way as we up level into our next level of leadership. There's going to be times where we don't feel so confident. There's going to be doubt. There's going to be outside experiences that might, if you were doing this on your own, might knock you off your tracks, or you might get discouraged. But because we're doing this in sisterhood, because we're doing this as an amazing leadership and business mastermind, which I have lots of experience with over the years, I've been doing this kind of work and advising people on their businesses and their movements for over a decade now, that I've kind of seen, and I've been watching what's going on kind of on this like high level bird's eye view. And I can see as a visionary myself that this is the kind of community and new earth collective that is needed for us as way showers in particular. And so if you're feeling inspired by any of this, I'd love to hear more from you. If you haven't yet reached out to me to have a conversation, let's do that. No obligation at all. It's just really about finding the perfect fit of sisters. You will be challenged in this group in a loving way. You will be called forward to be the leader that you are and show up in the group as such, and to really own your thought leadership and your wisdom. And you will be called forward to also let go of everything you think and believe you know in service to this next version of yourself. If you're willing to die to the old and be born again and baptize yourself into what is wanting to be called forward and your full embodied leadership, then this is the place for you. So reach out to me. Thank you so much for this beautiful chat. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, eclipse season. Shout out to my girls, Joanna and Christiana, who are both on this stream with me. This was totally impromptu. I love you so much. Yeah, and no shame, about any of our past, like that this is part of the recalibration process too, is to like let go of any shame or blame about where we've been or what we've been reliant on in the past. I mean, I've been there myself, and I have no problem continuing to just reveal myself and to be vulnerable in my truth, and that this is going to be a group for that, with the caveat that we are moving the needle forward. And that's the beauty of a more masculine container with a mastermind, with the business and leadership focus, is that we have a structure we can rely on that ensures that whatever our vision is for ourselves, that we want to be where we want to be in a year, that we are together going to be able to support one another to get there. And you will be amazed, because we also are going to be working in the quantum, what shows up for you when you really hold that high level vision of yourself and the visions of your sisters in your heart, and also open yourself up to being delighted and surprised by the one unfolding miracle working on your behalf. And the more clarified and refined you are in that vision, while also being open and surrendering and into the flow of how it shows up, the more you will really be living in this field of the miraculous. And that's what we're going to be doing here as well. So I love you so much. Thank you for tuning in. Love y'all. Love y'all. Choose a new story and a new adventure. Yay. I love you all. Aloha. Hui ho.